Good evening. Today we have 5 stories for you. First story is about dysmorphia. Imagine, you always see a stranger in the mirror? Then, we will meet a man, who visits the wrong house. But the old lady looks so friendly? The third story is a creeper, and tells us why we should always lock the bathroom door. Then, you will learn why you should always look under the bed, or should you? Lastly, we have a good one, that is proof of God's existence. So without further ado, let's go. There is a stranger in your house. She follows you from room to room, appearing in mirrors, windows, steel appliances. You logically understand that this is your reflection, but you know that isn't you. She looks wrong, and she definitely shouldn't be there. It should be you staring back in the reflection, not her. Your therapist and doctor try to explain that that is you, but they're wrong, they don't see what you see. She looks nothing like you. Her features are warped, they don't look human almost. Her eye bags are dark, rings of purple circling her dull eyes. There's no life to her features. Her lips cracked and pale pink, bleeding in spots. Her body is expansive, she could almost fill up the entire mirror, the edges of her stomach edging closer to the ends each time you see her. It is almost as if someone has poorly stretched her out in Photoshop. The part that scares you the most, however, is her skin. Oh God, her skin. It is gray, veins prominent underneath, purple and blue lines surrounding her lips and eyes. She looks dead, not alive. She stares back at you when you dare look in the mirror. Always smirking, face contorted into an ugly shape. She is laughing at you. You want to scream, she has hidden your reflection in this hell she has created. Smash the mirror. Get rid of her. Your hands are pounding on the glass, it begins to shatter but you keep hitting it. Get rid of her. Get rid of her. The shards stick to your skin, tearing deep into the dermis layer of your skin, but she's disappearing. Her smirk is going away. Blood pours down your arm, glass has reached the fat layer, but she's gone. You're finally free. The elderly woman smiled widely, as she motioned toward the basement. The plumbing is probably as old as I am. Greg laughed, I'll take a look and see what we can do. He laid his phone, keys, and laptop on the table, picking up his tools and flashlight. The smell from the basement overwhelmed him as he walked downstairs. He laid his bag down and covered his mouth and nose with a rag. The old woman blushed, I'm sorry about this. His voice was muffled through the rag, it's not your fault. He walked to the bottom of the stairs, scanning the basement and turned left, following the intensifying smell. His foot caught the edge of a 5-gallon bucket, causing its contents to splash up onto his pants. Gagging at the realization the bucket contained human waste, he nearly vomited. There were other buckets, nearly overflowing with their foul contents. Moving forward carefully, he passed the buckets nearing an old shower stall in the corner of the room. There he found him. Curled in the corner, a decaying man. The pressure of the vomit sprayed from beneath his handkerchief, nearly blinded him. Knocking over buckets, he staggered back toward the bottom of the stairs. Grabbing the handrail, he saw the old woman pulling his tools off of the stairs and slamming the door shut. Screaming uncontrollably, he pounded on the door. The door and frame did not budge. Greg took slow, deep breaths trying to calm himself. An intercom at the bottom of the stairs crackled softly, David. If you don't behave, you won't get any supper. He yelled, what the heck are you talking about? The woman's voice was more shrill, how dare you speak to your mother this way? You don't deserve to eat today. Greg's mind reeled as he searched in vain for a way to escape the confines of the basement. Defeated, he approached the body in the shower. The man's wallet revealed much about Greg's situation. The driver's license read Michael Jonas. Greg recalled seeing his strange disappearance on the news over the last couple of months. Michael was a small business owner, akin to Greg, who specialized in home security features. Presumably, Michael had created his own tomb. Greg pondered, if the man who made it couldn't get out, what chance would he have? He sat quietly on the bottom step, considering all his options. His search of the basement had been thorough over the preceding hours, but yielded no way out. Michael's work had been perfect. Greg started to sob, burying his head in his hands. For all his strength, he was powerless to use it. Michael was just as strong and had starved to death in this hell. There was only one way forward as far as he could see. Greg stood slowly, dragging his feet. His lips quivered, as he tried to form the words. Pressing the intercom button, his voice cracked, "Mommy, I'm sorry." I was shampooing my hair in the shower, when I heard the bathroom door creak open. Jenkins, I thought. I'd adopted my old tabby when I was 16, and we'd been together for 10 years. It wasn't the first time Jenkins had snuck into the bathroom, and if I wasn't careful, she'd try to get in the tub again. Sometimes, I wondered if Jenkins was more catfish than cat. I anchored the corners of the shower curtain in place with 2 heavy bottles of shampoo and conditioner, and I squeezed my eyes shut, as I began rinsing my hair. I thought about my plans for the evening. It was my 28th birthday and my friends were taking me out for dinner. It had been a while since I'd last been to a restaurant. Money was tight ever since I'd lost my job during the pandemic, and even after moving to an apartment, in a not-so-nice neighborhood to save on rent, I still couldn't afford a night out. I heard Jenkins tugging on the shower curtain, and a thud as one of the bottles fell. "I'll be right out, Jenny," I called, as I blindly felt around for the fallen bottle. I found it and returned it to its place. I continued rinsing my hair. I had to look nice tonight. Sophie was going to be there. I couldn't help but smile. I was going to gather the nerve to tell her how I feel about her. She'd been so kind to me after I lost my job. She'd even helped with the bill for Jenkins' cremation, and my smile fell. With trembling hands, I wiped the soapy water from my eyes. And I noticed the tall shadowy figure, on the other side of the shower curtain. Jenkins had accidentally drowned over a year ago. Mom made sure to check for monsters under my bed, after I told her about the scratching noises. The gentleness of her voice, as she told me that I was safe, was enough to make me embrace sleep. It was a request of mine, to leave my door ajar, just in case I needed to run to the safety of my parents, and upon relaying that to my mom, she chuckled but honored my plea, as she promised not to close their bedroom door as well. In the brink of deep slumber, after a month since the unsettling noises, I heard the sound of crawling, and the gentle closing of my door. As the heaviness of my eyes demanded rest, my 6-year-old self could only give in. Mom always made sure to check under my bed, but she never checked under hers. Dad arrived one morning after his night shift, and found blood soaking the white carpet, on both sides of their bed. As he made the motion of peering at the space under the wooden frame, he found Mom. Or what was left of her at least. Nothing was the same after that, as Dad got rid of our bed frames, leaving our mattresses bare on the floor. The trauma of the horrific incident left my father so distraught that social services rendered him no longer capable of taking care of me. I never heard from my dad after that, but I remember the pelting rain, the squeeze of an adult hand on my little one, as they lowered his casket 5 months later. Fall greeted the 7th year of my life, and gifted me with a foster family that soon became my adopted ones. It wasn't until I turned 10 that my new parents were blessed with their own child, yet they didn't love me any less. Years of happiness shrouded our home, as the stain of my past slowly depleted with time. I thought I had escaped it all, that at 16, I was finally free from the tailing fear, so much so, that I even found myself imagining a bright future. My longing for paradise turned into a wasteland once more, when my now 6-year-old sister asked me to check under her bed because she heard scratching noises. In the midst of my body shaking, as terror clothed me, I got down on my knees and checked under her bed. My eyes soon adjusted to the dimness of that space, and as they did, I saw something, wearing the skin of my dead mother's face. I can prove that God exists, and I figured this out about 2 months ago. I am a poor man who has a wife and 2 children, and many people tell me that I should never have had kids in the first place, due to my financial situation. I ignore them, and one day I prayed to God to not change my financial situation in any kind of positive way, and by some miracle, God did as I had told him, and my financial situation is still bad. I couldn't believe it, that God had answered my prayers. All praise to Yahweh the Great and Almighty. Then when my youngest child was seriously sick, and I went down on my knees and I prayed to God, which I pleaded, please God, do not make my son better and do absolutely nothing. And by some miracle, my son was still sick. I couldn't believe it, that I had proven the existence of God once again, and my outlook on life had so much purpose now, and everything was shining brightly. My son's condition was not getting any better, and God did nothing, which is exactly what I had prayed for. Then my second son went missing, and I prayed to God to do nothing and for my son to be missing, and by some miracle, my son was still missing and God did nothing. He did exactly as I had asked for, and this proves his existence. I go round to hospitals now, where I visit terminally ill patients, and I pray to God to do nothing for their sickness, and God does nothing. The terminally ill patients all rejoice in witnessing God answering my prayers. When my wife took her own life, I prayed to God to do no miracle and there was no miracle, and I rejoiced once again, when my prayer was answered again. I am proving God's existence so many times over. But my luck ran out last week though, when I was visiting a terminally ill patient and I prayed to God to do nothing, but the terminally ill patient became better within seconds. God didn't answer my prayer. My faith has been struggling ever since. Thanks for listening. But before I go, let me remind you to subscribe and hit the like button. Hit the bell as well to always keep updated. And if you really want to support our channel, make a comment. Nothing will help more. Even a friendly hi will do wonders. That being said, until next time, good night.